Hello everyone and welcome to something very special. A new Let's Play from me. It's been a few years, and it's been a few more years for this. Horn of the Abyss, the mod for Heroes of Might and Magic 3, an excellent project put together by a dedicated team. This has been anticipated, this release, for like 5+ years, and so we're going to be diving into this new campaign that's been added by the team, Forged in Fire. Forged in Fire. The campaign description. Young Henrietta lost her home overnight, becoming witness to mayhem and countless deaths. Her spirit, however, remained unbroken. She found strength within and brought the survivors together. She teams up with an eccentric Bricadan inventor and sets out on a quest for a new home and a new life. World on Fire is the first level. Henrietta and Frederick must bring the orb of tempestuous fire to Frederick's laboratory. If Henrietta is defeated, you will lose the scenario. Your heroes are limited to level 6, but Henrietta and Frederick will bring the Charm of Mana and the Coil of Conjuring to the next scenario. And the map description. The Kriegans invaded Eofol during the Night of Shooting Stars. The Halfling Henrietta must find the Artificer Frederick, who might know what to do about it. Now I'm going to be playing on the hard difficulty because it's my understanding that this difficulty is actually quite dynamic, in that easy is actually designed for people who are just coming back to the game. Hard is designed for people who are regular players, and impossible is designed to test even the most, full-time Heroes 3 player sort of thing. And that isn't me. I have been working on my skills, but we're going to try on hard. And we're going to choose a starting bonus. Now, it's my understanding that there's probably going to be some quest gates, because if we're going to have artifacts coming through, that tends to be for quest gate shenanigans. But I'm going to go for archery because Henrietta is a halfling specialist. It's going to just make sense. Let's go for archery. Eofol, the land of giants. Why is it called so? Deep inside, everyone is sure it's about us. Sure, it may sound ridiculous, but it hurts to know some call you a halfling, as if you are only half of something genuine. We've always avoided strangers. Standing next to them, it was too hard to convince ourselves it was not true. We disliked any change, as it meant to acknowledge we had been doing something wrong before. We believed in the good old superstitions, though, and on the night when the sky above us shattered into 1,000 fiery pieces, many of us were wishing upon the stars. Me? I felt something strange and frightening was happening, and only one man could help me understand it. It was the stranger who taught me to love the sky more than the earth. It seemed as if that night would never end. Standing dazed on the bare hilltop above the village, I couldn't take my eyes off the streaks of fire as they cut across Eofol's sky. They were too blistering to notice some of them go out and others light up. Then I realised they weren't going out at all, and even after I lowered my eyelids, the day was about to break, yet I could only see a mishmash of dark and light strokes. Frederick had told me never to look directly at the sun as to harm my eyesight, but he never mentioned that searing light just like that could also pour down from the sky by night. I pressed my palms to my face and darted almost blindly down the slope towards the creek. I think I screamed. I was scared. The water and the coolness helped. My eyesight was coming back to me, but the fear didn't go away. It felt as though that blinding flame kept scorching me inside. While I could see, I noticed that the stars whose tails blazed so brightly in the night sky were not burning up in midair. They were making it all the way to the ground, like some huge smouldering rocks, strangely slowly, and yet seemingly not far from here, just beyond those hills. Then the wind brought a faint odour of smoke, not like the morning smell of stoves and houses. Over the past few years, I had gotten used to asking questions. Then I'd learnt to do it, and then eventually mastered this art again. When I met a man who knew far more about the world than I could imagine, I wanted to ask and ask and ask without end. I was curious about everything. Then I suddenly realised I was asking too much nonsense. Frederick tried not to show it, but his displeasure sometimes got the best of him, and he sent me away. There was no punishment worse than coming back from a lab full of wonders to a barn filled with broken rakes and dirty burlap bags. I began to think before opening my mouth, and I guess I slowly learnt to ask the right questions. One such question I wanted to ask right now. Can rocks so much like the sun fall from the sky? And so here we are, the beginning of this campaign. So the sign, we have a mistranslated town over here. I'm not even going to try to give that a name. A quest gate. We have some halflings here we'll probably be able to recruit. So we need to bring the Orb of Tempestuous Fire, and it's quite a small map. We can almost fit it on one screen, right? But let's see what we can do. So here we have Experimental Maintenance Workshop, property of the mining company, currently not hiring. So that's probably why we can't read it. Frederick had long ago entrusted Henrietta with the key to his laboratory, but today she is surprised to find another pair of lugs on the gate, with the shackle of a ponderous lock threaded through. There is no semblance of a chink on it, and all attempts to find some secret button are futile. Perhaps its secret is known only to the scientist himself. Okay, we need Frederick for that. What about here? This road comes down from the laboratory and leads south through the forest towards Dry Rye Hill. There's no point going down this road now. We must find Frederick. Let's do just that then, shall we? We'll head left. The sign at the gate reads, well, we already read that. Looking closer, I notice some scratches on the sign. Barely visible smudges of dirt complement them, forming the symbols of a secret alphabet invented by Frederick. It's a secret message. You'll soon come rushing here, like if it smelt of hot apple pies. This starfall breaks all the laws of cosmology. I've never seen such celestial phenomena described anywhere. The speed of passing celestial bodies, the deceleration exceeding all norms, flame streaks of a vector opposite to. The strongest light filter broke. Extremely interesting, but the situation forces me to leave the home. Names and faces from a past life have resurfaced. It could be dangerous. Be careful, and don't forget our secret. I am heading south, and don't even think... nothing. Well, loot. Let's get it, shall we? And because we're actually playing on hard, we have resources, so let's grab the experience. So we do start with leadership and luck as our starting skills, but we also got an artifact of the Equestrian's gloves. So that's nice. Let's go for the basic offense. And recruit some halflings.
What are you doing here, wench? Heard you like to look at weird things, so go over there. Like the look of it, eh? Struts about the place all the time. Never once looks at what's her feet. Nay, like staring at the sky way more. And now there's a gift fell down from here. Remember the hitch rail over there? Now it's a hole in the ground as big as a gate where it was, and the horses are all gone. She and her sorcerer brought us bad fortune. Not even old Alka remembers anything fall from up there, and he's old enough to seem a living giant. If the old buzzard isn't making it up. It's black magic, that's what I'm saying. The evil one reached up from his mountain with his magics and tore off a piece of the firmament. Luckily no one got hurt.
It's rather ungrateful, mean halflings, but we'll have them.
It fell from the sky, can you believe it? I saw it myself. There it is in the hole. Too scary to approach. I don't see no one in the whole sky. Are you seeing things, brother?
Let's have them halflings too, eh? There's a tavern. Can we access it?
What a boom! I swear my shutters hit the wall and came to bits.
Well, to thine own self be true. We have a tavern, but we have no heroes for hire, so... Well, I guess we can quench our thirst. Let's examine this hole, shall we? It's probably going to be dangerous. There was indeed a hole in the place where the villagers had mentioned, a hole of smooth, seemingly melted edges, but somehow it wasn't too hot near it, and it didn't even look something had been burning there. What could it mean? Some of those stars that fell in the night didn't announce their imminent arrival, but simply fell, wherever they needed to. I froze, frightened by my thoughts, while the clamouring peasants kept waving their hands and rebuking me, as if it were all somehow my doing. I turned my back to them and tried to think of what to say. Suddenly, the outrage on their faces gave way to surprise and then horror. Stunned, I realised that the villagers weren't looking at me anymore, but behind me. A pair of sharp, crescent-shaped horns appeared above the hole, then two large red paws, and then their owner got out of the hole with a mighty leap. Straightening up, he inhaled gurglingly and let out two streams of smoke, huge in stature, with lumpy skin, the colour of fresh meat, or with no skin at all. Here in the middle of the village, he looked infinitely alien. The eyes of the strange visitor were fiery spots, and the air around his figure was churning like it does above a frying pan. I felt a wave of heat and a strange, iron-like odour or taste on my tongue. Then it was as if a chemical reaction had stopped, like at Frederick's, when he'd let me drop some indigetto in a flask. The monster's eyes became dim. Its skin turned brown, the heat around it subsided, and I could finally get a good look at it. If one were to imagine a huge wild boar growing horns, losing its bristles, standing up on two legs like a man, and getting bumps on its back and chest, that would still be a very rough and flattering description of the creature I saw. Its ugliness was striking. The creature wiggled its large head around and looked at the crowd. Its snare-like mouth opened, and a disgustingly long tongue fell out. With a loud clang, the monster took its first step into the land of Earfall. Funny, I thought, as if some good farrier had already shoehorned him. Well, it's a horned demon, but let's fight it, shall we? Wait for a moment. So these are regular halflings, if you're curious, from Armageddon's Blade. They've been given a new appearance, and they now have the native terrain of the Wasteland, which is the new terrain added for Factory. But otherwise they are the same units we all know and love. Throwing rocks at people. Very David and Goliath. This should be fairly straightforward. Well, we might need to kite a little bit. Let's see. Mind you, we're going to do 7 to 24 damage. And we get a full round of shooting. No, we probably should body block. Let's have these two block the little ravine here, shall we? Well, you're happy about that. Throw a rock. That should be sufficient, though. Yeah. The horned demon is no more. 40 experience. And oh no, we've lost our last town. Let us proceed to the warehouse of ore. Actually, we'll go get them more halflings. The horned one lies on the ground, hit between the eyes a few times with heavy slingshot bullets. His head is cracked, with one horn broken off. What seemed unthinkable yesterday is now sprinkling our land with its stinking blood. A beast, it would seem, but no, not a beast. His eyes were too intelligent until they faded. Not an elemental spirit, not a human, not a magic creature, and silence all around. Nothing more to argue about.
We should inform everyone about this devilry at once. How many of them are roaming the forest now, trampling our mushrooms? We must prepare an ambush,
I heard from the halflings flocking around the vanquished creature. Suddenly the clatter died down, and I felt a dozen intense scares.
Henrietta, you know all the paths around here. You're the only one who knows where all the villages are.
What an ordeal it is for them to go beyond the outskirts of their home village. All their lives they had been afraid of strangers, and here was their fear embodied. Even dead, it made them sweat. But now they stood with their chins high and spat upon the brown corpse. If there's more than one of them out there...
Why, lads, where there is one, there's got to be others, right? We'd better get some heavy stones and go together.
Costa, an elderly carter who was lamenting the horses, threw his hat on the ground.
I want to make these singed hogs pay for my ponies. Show the way, lass. Can't we cut through the woods to the tall ridges?
Looks like we're going to be trying to grab as many of these small folk as we can. Let's end turn. To find Frederick. I had to find Frederick. Nothing could be more important now. Not because of the telescope. Well, everything that could fall from the sky had already done it. It was just my heart telling me that it'd be better to be by his side now. Any knowledge he had, even the very lore that made him so feared by my fellow villagers, could be useful today. For as long as I could remember, I'd always been alone and lived in a barn with Grandpa Hay. He was not my own grandfather, that I knew somehow, but he still fed me, gave me clothing, and let me sleep by the stove in his house in the winter. But the rest of the time, I preferred to be on my own. Frederick came into my life when I was, well, I don't even know how old I am now. Doesn't matter. It was the first time I ventured into the hills behind behind our grove and saw a big new house, and next to it, one disturbingly tall man and two smaller ones, like halflings, but different, grey-skinned. Then I learnt that these little people were called gremlins, and that they were not really human, but Frederick refused to answer my questions, and I never saw the gremlins again. And then, perhaps out of fear of the unknown, I froze and let myself be caught, although I could have hidden in the forest from anyone. Frederick realised I wasn't the kind of person that chased him off to this neck of the woods, and he come let me see him sometimes. I guess he needed some live ears to listen to his crazy hypotheses, and he didn't care that I was just a silly little girl who couldn't even count her fingers. I stayed in the lab for weeks on end, for no one missed me in the village anyway. My thin hands were often just what Frederick needed. Sometimes he asked me to crawl inside a sophisticated machine to find a burst hose or check the wear in a gear. Such joy it gave me when I was able to help the assembled mechanism begin to hiss and spin. Even though I hadn't the faintest idea what was happening, he, however, always knew what was going to happen and why it should work. To find Frederick, there was hardly anyone who could deal with the unusual around here. So we do have a limited time here to try and find some extra stuff and things. Well, a town in particular, because we're going to die otherwise. We may have to find Frederick and then open up this tower town here, the Ialili place, but let's see. So first off, we have to fight some demons. As Resident Evil might say. Terrible demons. These creatures look simpler than the one in the pit. They had no metal ornaments on their paws, and only one horn, thick and short. They exchanged jerky, guttural noises, as if they were barking at each other. But I could see they understood each other much better than dogs, and as soon as the pack spotted us, however, the quarrelling stopped. With their hooves digging up the ground, the creatures rushed into the fight. Probably want to be in a corner. We'll hold off for now. Well, not that I actually have enough one sticks for that anyway. Oops. We'll be fine. If we get a one shot on each of these anyway, which it looks like we're going to, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll move this guy down here to draw these two to the south. As long as this guy doesn't get morale, we should be okay. We'll position this one here. And we'll move this one here. This will keep this particular demon in place. I'll do this actually. This will work even better. He really wants to live, this particular halfling. Fine. Does make things more complicated for me, though. Let's see. Well, let's just morale kite, shall we? There we go. Someone needed to fall on your sword for this to work. There we go. More experience. Do I want to fight the rogues now? Probably. Because like resources I could come back for, but the artifact would be nice. Let's at least do the one stacks properly then. If we kick this guy to the south, that'll lure them down. Gives us extra time to shoot. These halflings are excellent, let's be honest. Can this guy kite him? No. And there we go. The rogues are defeated. Let's grab that artifact. While venturing into a decrepit hut, you find the skeleton of a long-dead witch. Investigation of the remains reveals a ring with a dragon's eyes set into it. This will increase our luck and morale by 1 each. Let's now visit this mineral spring, shall we? Horses look less than thrilled to drink the salty water, but soon you notice them prancing around with new vigour. Rainbow forms in the droplets above the sparkling spring, and the sight brings everyone into a happy mood. +3 luck! This guy should be recruited, I think.
Oh, we can't believe it. Finally, some familiar faces. We went to scoop up saltpeter water in the morning to fertilise the gardens, and there were those horned ones. We barely got away. Let's join up.
Indeed. Welcome, fellow halflings. Let us read this sign.
It's a sign!
To the south, Dry Rye Hill. To the west, east, Wee Cellars. To the west, Tall Ridges. I think we want to go south, right? Several horned demons are guarding... Well, we definitely can't fight the archdevils right now. So yeah, it's going to be to the south. So let's grab this chest and then we'll hit the horned demons and then the regular demons next turn. Oh, red is being active. Many who had not believed in the danger opened their eyes now, but there are also many who shrugged off the trouble, even though it was knocking at their door. The difference? The former had already seen what the celestial guests did to living beings, while the latter had yet to. It was too late for them to get wiser, though. I could see from the hills now how the creatures were flooding the farms we had left behind. For the first time in the decade past since the bad harvest, something bigger than new turnip dish recipe had happened in the halflings' lives. I never imagined to carry this much sorrow. Frederick, where are you? We have 5 days to get active. Let's get some experience. Sadly not enough to do anything meaningful, but now let's fight some horned demons. Is this a bit ambitious is the question. I think it's going to require some hardcore kiting. If it's a low several, it should be doable. These two horned creatures were noticeably different from their lighter-skinned kin, not only in appearance but also in behaviour. Just like adults, they are different from a bunch of feckless teens. They were clearly better organised, and so they spotted us earlier. These creatures quickly banded into several squads and attacked. Okay, well, auto-combat can do it, so let's see if we can do better. Every halfling saved is a victory in and of itself. Just makes our power stack last that much longer. Alright. More terrible demons. And there's a few too many up here, I think. But hopefully we can keep these two down here. Throw a rock at him. Yeah, this is what we want. Good luck shines on the halflings. Boom! Nailed him. Your turn. Might as well pelt this guy with rocks. And this guy's going to run over here. Just to keep these two as far back as possible. I was afraid to attack the big stack. I mean, I'm grateful, but... We're going to need to do this properly. I think I may have done worse. Let's steal the retail. Mind you, if we had luck on the big stack would have been okay too, but... Morale helps a lot. Not a problem. Recovering from bad positioning using morale. Well, we saved one. Well, if you're going to offer me logistics, I'm going to take it. So we'll grab the boots of speed. Visiting a local wise man, you explain the intent of your journey. He reaches into a chest and withdraws a strange pair of boots which he hands to you. So these increase our movement speed even more. Good, because we're running to find Frederick. So we'll grab the scholar. Wants to teach us tactics. Well, let's take it. But we'll need to get wisdom and earth magic now to round out our hero. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just say no to armor at this point. Alright, several demons. These things are already here too. Did they really come down on the rocks from the sky? And where are the blacksmiths who forged their horseshoes? Are they coming next? The monsters split into groups as if planning to pincer me and my companions. They were certainly more intelligent than animals, and they were getting far and far more numerous. Sure, we had our slings ready and enough stones for all of them, but I wish we had something stronger. Wow, okay. Auto combat fails. At least we have tactics. But there is a lot of them here. It's got to be said. Let's hope for some good morales, eh? Some luck wouldn't hurt either. Let's begin. We'll just let everyone move. See what the power stack can kill off first. So there's a 2 stack here, which is probably my biggest concern. But the Horn Demon's also going to move first, which is the other problem. We're probably going to have to do some kiting. Let's just try to see if we can kill this stack off completely. Okay, that helps. So that's not going to be a problem. We'll throw rocks for now, but I think I'm going to have to move these 2 down next turn just to give us some more time. You get morale too. Great. Well, you're the first one to die. Congratulations. Well, of this round, I guess. Yeah, so they're just going to keep piling up. We need to move down. Somehow buy us some time. While our 33 stack just pelts them all. We need 5 turns of shots. Well, the morale helps, because I can further bait this guy further down. Now, some of them are just going to go for the 33 stack. That's to be expected. We just want to split them up. That'll be fine. Okay. Morale, please? Nope. In that case, congratulations, you volunteered to be a body blocker. That guy now cannot reach, which is what we want. So, you will now come over here. You get morale, excellent. Yep. But you were baited back, so that's good. We are almost in trouble now. Oh, let's swing away. Oh. 1 hit point left on that demon. Oh, 6 hit points, even so. Still, we can actually kill all of these if we roll highly. Well, we should take an alpha strike there. Oh, again, 29. You can do better than that, boys. We'll kill this guy off. Well, I think we'll win, but it's been a little bit bloody. We may be better if we'd split into 2 stacks rather than 1, but nonetheless, the Halflings triumph. Oh yes. Well, let's head to the windmill. And there's some Halflings here which we'll be able to recruit. A seer's hut. A devil down there, that's concerning. Well, let's call that an episode for today, shall we? When we come back next time, we'll continue Henrietta's journey, trying to find Frederick in these demon-invaded lands. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, right here at KonfluxGames.